Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about cross stitch and we're going to talk about some crochet that is kind of related to cross stitch in a way. So explain my last regular FlossTube video was kind of ended abruptly. I use my iPhone to record and I use an app on my phone to do what editing that I do. I'm a dinosaur living in the new age and I am learning as I go, and I can only save on my phone about a 25-minute video after all the edits. So that one, the last one, was just giving me fits. So it is what it is, but that's what happened. I did try to note it in the explanation box, description box below, but so that's the way it is. I know I'm not alone. I know many of you are kind of in the same boat, but I like the challenge and I like learning new things. I like photography. I like trying to produce something that's kind of interesting. Thank you to those that watched my fall decorating video. I appreciate all the positive comments and the encouragement that I just am trying to pass along, the things that bring me joy that I know others enjoy also. And thank you to those that made those comments. And I'm just kind of trying to pass it forward. Let's see. Also, if you do enjoy primitive decorating, there is another YouTube channel called the Cranberry Cornstalk, and she just recently did a fall home tour. Her style is definitely primitive, so if you like that, go check out that channel and find that video, and maybe you'll find some more inspiration. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. Whips, let's start with those. I've been working on Harvest I Grow by Lori Rippey. You can get her pattern, this pattern, at the address here, listed here. I'm stitching this one on 36 count sheep straw by R&R, using primarily, well, I'm using DMC, and I've kind of chosen my own colors, but trying to stick to the same color scheme that Lori has charted. I'm almost finished. I have a little basket here. There's another one on the opposite side. And then I need to follow or finish this little line border and then the alphabet. But I'm going to try to stick with this to get it finished for my Thanksgiving decor. So there's that one. So hopefully next time you see it, it will be framed. I do have a frame already bought for it. So that will be nice to have another finish. I know you're getting tired of looking at this one. And Be Kind to One Another by Needlework Press. This has really been a pleasant stitch. I really like this one. I'm stitching it on 36 count Ligonier Latte by R&R. These are the flosses that I'm using. Some I have substituted, and I've talked about those on my previous videos. And here is my progress. I am almost done with this one also. I still need to fix this area. I've messed up there. I think I'm going to put another star or maybe this motif, something like this, in that place. It's charted for a white bird. I'm just going to change that up. And so here I am. I've committed to 2020 something. So hopefully I will be getting this one done also. I just want to get it finished. And not sure what I'm going to do with this one, how I'm going to display it, but I really have enjoyed this one. And you can see on my previous videos where I've made substitutions with my colors, if you want to check that out. All right, let's see. Let's move on to finishes. On Etsy, the Humble Stitcher offers these two little sweeties. These are called Trick or Treat 2 Witch Pin Keeps. I do not have the cover photo, so I can't share that with you. I did primarily stick to the colors that she charted. Let's see, this one, that one's true. This one, I changed out her hair so she's a little blondie. And this one is a little bit taller also. I added an extra row in here or two, so she's a little bit more long-waisted than the other one, but I think they are fine together. So I haven't taken the time to fully finish them, but I'll make them into pillow tucks. I stitched those on 36 count Bunny Mom by XJU Designs and used most of the called for flosses. And then I mentioned this in my last video, but never showed it because it got edited. But this is The Good Stitching Witch by Stacy Nash. I chose to stitch her on 36 count Butter Crunch. And I also chose my own floss colors to kind of match the photograph on the cover. I changed in Stacy's finish. She has a little bow attached to her waist. I just chose to stitch mine in. And on this lower spool, I don't know if you can see that very well, I just kind of stitched over the top of the cross stitches to make it look more like thread on a bobbin. And when I do fully finish, I'm going to leave a thread here stuck in the spool of thread. Another one I just haven't taken the time to fully finish, but she will be a pillow. I want to make a display of all the little good witches in a dough bowl someplace. So I need to finish that up. Okay, let's see. Let's work on now fully finishes. On Etsy, I searched for oak leaf patterns, and I pulled this from one. Let's see. I stitched these on 36 count Hog Bristle by Fox and Rabbit, and I used Oscar. Let's do this. It's first shown. These are the completed ones. I shared them on my Instagram page, and I think I have a photo which should be included in the beginning trailer of the video of how I display these. This one I used Classic Colorworks Calico Kitty. I really liked the variegation in that. That's what this floss looks like. It has like tans and goes to like a rusty ruddy orange. For this one, I used, where'd it go? Weeks Dye Works Oscar. I wanted to try to use flosses that were very variegated to try to get the dimension of a real leaf. And then the last one I used Gentle Arts Apple Cider. And it's nice and messy because I used it. And that's what I used for this one. I think I want to make some other colors. And I pulled Classic Colorworks Fallen Leaves. This is more orange and a little touch of gold. And Classic Colorworks Brown Sugar. It's more of browns and a little bit of rusty tones. And also Gentle Arts Wood Trail, more of a brown, but there's quite a bit of variegation, browns, golds. So I'm going to someday make a few more of those to add to the bowl. So I think they're really cute when they're all together. So just search on Pinterest, autumn leaves. This set is what will be linked to the crochet, because this was from a filet crochet pattern that I used to cross stitch, and I'll talk about that after a little bit here. Alrighty, then the next thing I did, this is called Autumn Blessings from Sabrosa's blog. I stitched this on 40 count. I used 40 count antique cotton by R&R, and I just chose my own flosses. And I do not have those. Let's see. Yes, I do. I used baked apple, adobe, seaweed, chestnut, oilcloth, and on the feather tips, I said seaweed once, so I don't remember what the makers are, but those are the colors that I chose. This one, I stitched first on the antique cotton, sorry. And then I wanted to try something different with the distressing. You know, my normal thing is to stitch it on a white linen and then distress it with coffee. So I wanted to try something different, and I purchased this Instant Antique Primitive Gathering spray, and I used it. So I stitched the piece first, then I laid it on a cloth, paper towel, and then I took another separate paper towel beside it, and I shook this up really well. And then I only spritzed it a couple of times onto the spare paper towel, because I wasn't sure how this was how it would work when I actually sprayed it for the first time. It did first initially come out kind of blotchy, a couple of large blobs at first, and then it wanted to spritz and spray, disperse more. So remember that, you know, if you ever use this, and I think I'm going to experiment some more with it. I really like the effect, and I will show photos of the first, how it was stitched unstained, and then the completed project, and somewhere in here. So I really like that. I'm going to do some more experimenting with being a little more blotchy, more spotty, and I sprayed this twice. I tried to stay away from the center. It's hard to tell, but I wanted to get more of the dark out on the edges, and it's really not showing up here very well. So I just spritzed on the edges, stayed away from the center, and kind of experimented with it. And then I just set it with an iron. You can't tell it because it looks really wrinkly in there, but that's one of my fully finishes. So I'd say give it a try. It was fun. Stitch something small, or even just take scraps of linen and experiment with the different colors. You're going to get lots of different effects depending on the color of your fabric, or Aida, whatever it is you like to stitch on. Alrighty, so once again, that was Autumn Blessings from Sabrosa's blog, and you can go there and get that pattern free. Next is Pinker and Pumpkins blog spot by, let me see, where's your name? Melissa? Yeah, Melissa Vandergriff. She is so gracious and so sweet and such a great designer that she offers so many of her designs as freebies on her blog. This was one of them, called the 1803 Autumn House. So I chose, where are my notes here again? 36 count fiber on a whim wheat. And I really, really do like this fabric. And then I also chose my own flosses to complete the piece. Very cute. I think it's very colonial looking. Really a cute design. Then I stitched the piece and I just mounted it on a piece of heavy cardstock. And I like the finish, the overall finish. This is just a paper mache box. I painted the lid black and then I heavily sanded it. I painted on this little vine with the acorns to try to mimic these acorns here. And I like that. I thought about maybe doing the same thing on all three, the other sides, but I didn't. I just thought that's enough. And so I just painted that and then distressed it again and then waxed it nicely and then attached the stitched piece. I like it simple, but I do want something for these edges to make it look a little more finished. I don't want anything big and lumpy like the chenille trim. I like that, but I think it's gonna be too big. I did purchase the cording tool and I thought, well, maybe I can make a black braid, just something that's gonna kind of blend in with the box lid and not stand out too much, because I like things finished a little more simply, because I just think it looks a little more primitive and you can see the stitch piece more so. That's just my preference. But I think this really turned out pretty and I'm really happy with that finish. I got this box from Factory Direct Crafts. All right. So that's all my finishes. Now, I wanted to share a blast from the past. I don't recall when I made this. I stitched this, I created this several years ago. I wanted a candle wrap, and I designed this particular one for a candle larger than this. And just as a side note, I love these candles. See how that flickers? It looks like a real candle flame. And with my kitty cat around, I need something like this. It's not real flame. Anyway, so I created the stitch piece, and it says time to harvest. So I stitched it, and then I kind of just played with it and pieced it together. It's not perfect, but again, my love of primitive allows me to not be perfect, because primitive style is not perfect. So it and I get along well. I initially made this piece, like I said, to fit a larger candle. And I just stitched on the homespun on the end of the stitch piece so that it would go around the candle I designed this for initially. And then on the ends, I attached Velcro. You can kind of see here where it's sewn on. So with this candle, it's smaller than the first one. To attach it to the candle, I just pinned it with what looks like a rusty pin, and then I just attached the bell onto the end. But wanted something to kind of jazz up my candles a little bit, and that's what I came up with many years ago. And I'm really pleased with it. And I will have a photo included here in the video if you haven't already seen it at the beginning. And love these candles. They're so cool. So that's a blast from the past. Okay, let's see. Are we covering everything? Yes, we have. Something that I'm really enjoying. Have y'all ever walked into your favorite store, maybe your favorite primitive store, antique shop, and the first thing that hits you is this wonderful smell, this scent? I love that. And I try to do that here in my home. And I found these, they're from Walmart. They're Sensationals, and this is pumpkin apple muffin. And boy, I have a tart warmer. I use this all the time, and it smells so good. I use this in the summer, and the fall, and the winter, and the spring. And I really love how this smells. So, I really like that. They last, their wax melts, cubes, and they last just a couple of days. So my question for you all is, if you do burn the wax tarts, melts, what is your favorite scent, and what's the maker? So I'd like to maybe find some more that everybody likes. I like the more earthy tones. Well, the baking smells. I love the baking smells. If I could find something that smelled like banana bread bacon, oh boy, I would love that. So that's the question of the day. If you would mind sharing what you like. Okay, that is all that we have for cross stitch. If you want to say goodbye now, I'm going to talk about some crochet pieces and how they relate to cross stitch. And so if you're leaving, thank you for watching and stopping by and visiting, and hope you're well, and we'll say goodbye and see you next time. Okay, so when I talked about these stitching this particular design of the leaf, I used a filet crochet pattern that I'd found on Pinterest. And I understand that not everyone maybe know what that means, but this is an old pattern. This book I got from one of my grandmas or my great aunt. My great aunt was handicapped. She lived with my grandparents, and so she crocheted all day, every day, all the time. And she's the one that taught me how to crochet when I was a little girl. And I've kept many of my grandma's and my great aunt's patterns. This happens to be one of them that is specifically for filet crochet patterns. This one was dated 1956, so it's old. I have lots of old ones. So anyway, filet crochet is similar. The patterns are charted similar to what you would see across cross stitch pattern. Let's see if we can find this one. All right, so here's the picture of the front cover piece. Here it is stitched as a square, or crocheted as a square, and here it is as a table runner. Try to get up close so you can see that design a little better. Okay, now here is the chart. The chart is designed to show you a stitch where you're supposed to stitch like a double crochet, and then the openings are where you would stitch a chain stitch and then move on to the next space. I'm not going to try to explain how to crochet. You can find that in other places, but those of you that know what I'm talking about, I'm just trying to share that you can take filet crochet patterns, and you can create other things if you can't find what you really want. So I just wanted to share that with you. Also, this is an example of filet crochet. My mother had this made for me many years ago, back in the early 90s when this was popular. And so she had her name crocheted in the piece and then had it framed. This is old, but this is an example of filet crochet where you can see, you know, the design is crocheted into the piece. And it looks more solid. I think these were pretty popular back in the day, and those colors definitely were mauve and green and burgundy, country blue and peach. I used all those colors back in the day. As I was going through looking for some examples of filet crochet, I pulled out some baby things that I crocheted a long time ago. So I kind of went down memory lane, and I thought maybe you'd like to see some things. I kept all my girls' special memento things, and I gave my oldest one her little box of goodies. And luckily, my youngest daughter hasn't taken hers with her yet, so I was able to pull these out. But these are some things that I crocheted. This set, I put a tag on here for them so they knew who made this and the year that they made it. I crocheted this for my youngest daughter for Easter 1991. Sweet little sweater. And I remember she wasn't very old. Maybe, oh gosh, 6 months old. They're showing some age on them, but I wanted to share that I crocheted that, and I made her a little matching bonnet. I had so much fun doing this. Easter was always my favorite holiday because I had 2 daughters, and I thought I'm going to dress them the way I want, girly and frilly, while I can, because there would come a day that they wouldn't want mommy to do that anymore. So I took advantage of that. Easter was my favorite holiday because I would splurge and go buy them a whole complete outfit. Shoes, tights, new dress. They would get a hat, maybe some gloves. I just wanted them to look really feminine and frilly and be little girls as long as I could keep them that way. So that was my thing. So one year I crocheted them matching dresses. I crocheted this one in 92. I'll pull this tag out of the way so you can see this. This took me some time. So this was for my youngest and my oldest daughter. This would have been when Kaylee was 2 years old, and my oldest daughter, Lindsay, would have been 5. So hers, you can imagine, I crocheted one little larger than this. This took me some time, but I really enjoyed this. This was made out of crochet cotton thread, not yarn. And I had a pattern that a friend loaned to me with a little collar. I added this little flower embellishment, and all these are individually crocheted onto the body. And they were so cute. I would always take them and get their pictures taken. So sweet. I don't remember them being this small. That's kind of scary. And then I also crocheted socks, the cuffs on the socks to match their dresses. And I have pictures of them both together in their little Easter dresses. So I just wanted to share that with you, some other things that I've made in the past. I don't crochet a whole lot now because cross stitch has really captured my attention, but I've made many things, many things. Well, that's the end of this one. Thank you for hanging around, and hope you are doing well and maybe got some inspiration for something more to create. And take care, and we will see you next time.